Are you able to hear me, guys? So in the last class, we discussed about here price list conversion, correct? I hope you already finished the first step, correct? If you go to this one, this is the class we discussed. Okay. Only one step we have finished, right? One is file to staging here. For this, we have used here SQL loader control file and loaded the data, correct? Now next is here staging to base table. So for this, we have to use one API. API name also I shown you already, that is QP listbook. If you don't remember, you can go to one responsibility. All the APIs, all the open interfaces, you can check into integrated SOA gateway. Okay. Then you can go to search here. You have to use your suite. That is an order management suite. Product name here is advanced pricing, or you can use order management also because it is integrated. And you can go with the API here. For API, we can use PLSQL. Then click on go here. So the package name here is QP price list properties. So this is a old batch actually. Like you no need to listen. You can proceed with your practice. Old batch only it is like conversion topic, right? It's not a new batch. You can go with your practice. Otherwise, it's a waste of time because it is in the middle also and all coding oriented. You will get confused. New batch people no need to listen. So this is the API. Okay. So this API we'll discuss today. This is a package actually. Package you need to learn line by line, then only you can work. So now you can go to price list conversion. This package you have to design on your own. Oracle will not give you, but still, if you work in one project, similar coding you can utilize in all the projects in all the companies. So these are all one-time learning, okay? So this is the package, just like 250 lines coding, nothing much. So we'll go first line onwards. I'll just make a note of code flow here. Code flow will help you to understand the package. Hardly 5, 6 bullet points will be there that you are going to learn, right? Okay. So first here is for package, like there are two things, components. One is package spec, other one is package body. We will save in the form of .SQL it is because we have two things here. So we should not use TXT extension here. We have to use here .SQL. .SQL will have here specification as well as body. Okay. So for every procedure, two mandatory parameters. This we already discussed in the XML publisher. Correct? What are the values of red code also, you know, right? Do you remember values of red code? Correct. 04012 values. Now next is body, and this is all description. You have to write it. And you can see initial version it is. Uh, these are all syntaxes. It is table type. TBL means table. REC means record type. If you don't know as of now all this, you can just learn in Google, or else you can check with your SQL trainer. Record type and table type. These are all mandatory. These are all comes under PLSQL, or we can say it is advanced PLSQL. So you must aware like how to declare it and what is this table type, what is this record type, difference between these two. Okay. So these are all same only. See, one is for record, other one is list value, line table, line value, qualifier table, qualifier value table. Just declaration, all this. This V means variable it is. Okay. So we have declared all these variables by using record type and table type. So till here simply declaration only. Now, before launching API, okay, we need to initialize one thing here. That initialization is this one. This is also an API. Okay. So first point is this one. FND Global is a API or package we can say. We are initializing the environment for a specific user, specific responsibility, and specific application. So user ID means like with which user you are submitting, with which responsibility you are submitting, and what is your application. Application is order management application, quality pricing application, module name we can say. And login ID means obviously when you log into your program, login ID it is. So X means here, these are all parameters. Overall 4 parameters for this initialization. Without this, your API will end up with an error. For every API, this is mandatory thing it is. Now, who will give you the user ID value at runtime? Will not be there, right? Responsibility address will not be there. So for this, there is one package. That is also a package again. Profile values, we can say. So this is the one we can use. FND profile value dot user ID. You don't need to give manually. Okay. Your system will take automatically. So for this user ID, what we are doing, we are asking environment to pick the value. FND profile, FND global. These are all Oracle applications predefined packages. Okay. So what it will do is if I am submitting with through my user, it will pick up my user ID it is. In the same way, responsible ID, responsible application ID, ARG ID, all this. FND global, FND profile. These are all the two server side packages. Clear? And how I am populating application IDs because through same way it is. RESP application ID. See, all are built-ins. All are even in your company also it will be there as it is. Just you should know what is the use of it. So this is to initialize the package before calling API, we can use it. And to give for the value for user ID, we can use FND profile value user ID. Okay. In the same way, RESP ID, application ID, login ID, all this. Now come down here. These are all variables again. Okay. So there are 3 cursors we are taking. This cursor is for header table, line table, and attribute table. We have 3 as we discussed last time. Okay. And cursor with parameter. If you want to load the lines, then definitely you should make a relationship between these two. The first cursor, second cursor. Relationship is p name. Okay. P name is the parameter name. I already written here. Pass this price list name from the header cursor. These two we are making a dependency. Cursor with parameter. This is called as a cursor with parameter. In this parenthesis, we can pass 32 parameters. 32 is the maximum limit. Right now, I kept only 1. In this case, I kept only 2. Likewise, you can pass maximum 32 parameters. So this is called as a cursor declaration. This is called as a cursor with parameter declaration. With parameter. Why with parameters? The hierarchy, we are making a relation, relating each other here. One is a header cursor, a line cursor, attribute cursor. Clear? Now come down here. To enable a profile in the application, you can go with the one responsibility that is system administrator. Here is the place, profile, system. We already discussed in drop shipment, this profile option, drop shipment flow. If you check it, you can see operations. So this is the way we can enable profile options. See, simply I made it value here like this, Oracle pricing for source system code. If it is front-end application, we can enable like this. If it is a backend, we have to use this package. This is the package. Same profile option. See, in the application it is showing QP source system code, but in the backend it is FND profile output source code quality pricing. Okay. Next point is which is used to enable or set up to enable profile from PLS. Clear? And this is for what it is? To get user ID from environment. And this is what it is. Before calling API, we must initialize. Initialization is required. So are you okay with all this? These are all points. Okay. Now next. In the same way, other profile also. Overall, three profiles we are enabling here. One is for transaction quantity, order fulfillment. This is order fulfillment. Next one is source system code. Next is organization ID. So organization ID 101, what it is actually 101. Is it vision operations, vision services? So we don't know. Organizations where you can see inventory organizations, but this is quality pricing organization ID. Okay, just ID value we have to enable here. Okay, it doesn't have like it's values are 0. Okay, so this is the previous code. You can just comment also, not a problem. This is wrong value it is. Okay. But if you want to give any 204, 207, all these organization ID values, you can give here. Okay, right now it is not relevant to our code. You can comment this. Now, whatever we are initializing it, we are printing into application here. So to print into application, we can use this. The seventh point. The purpose of this is to write code in the log button. Okay. Now you tell me like how many points we discussed till now. Tell me, Sheshu. Till now, what we discussed. Initialization. What is the syntax for initialization? FND global dot apps initialize. Okay. What are the parameters of it? User ID, application ID, responsibility ID, login ID. Okay. That is the one point. Next, how to enable profile option from PLSQL. Dot put it is. Okay. How to write the data in the log button? Put FND file, not profile. File it is. See this one. These are all syntaxes you need to remember. Okay. Now, next point here is, I hope you are okay with all this, correct? Now, next, this is the main for loop. Okay. So this is what it is actually. For loop syntax, everyone knows, right? So this is variable, right? For a variable in PRI list, price list, just go here, this one. Okay, what it is actually? Cursor name. For loop syntax is this one. Now we are validating the price list. Right now, price list is, if we go to whatever you are entering the name, it should not be a duplicated one. So how to check the duplication is based on the count. If it is already there in the system, the count of this particular column will give you 1. Then immediately we have to make it as a duplicate. So how to check a statement here is simple statement. Check. This is called as an anonymous block because it doesn't have a name. So this is a named block because we have a name here. See, for procedure, there is a name. But if you go here, this doesn't have a name. Okay, this doesn't have a name. That's why it is called as an anonymous block. Anonymous block, why it is required is for calculations, for derivations, values and all, we can check it as. So now we are checking the count of count 1. There is a point you need to understand in the performance also. Count of 1, then count of column name, and one more is count star. So performance wise, actually, there will be a huge difference if there are number of records more. Count star means it will check all the columns from a particular table while accessing it. Count of column, it will focus not null values on a specific column it is. And count of 1, it will just return a value simply if it is there. Okay, for better performance, we can use this. Count of 1, and we are putting into L name. L name is what it is. It's a variable where we declare, just go up. Before begin, you can see declarative section. This one, correct? L name. Okay. Now come down. If L name is greater than 0, count of 1 will give you 0 if it doesn't have a value. If it is greater than 0, then error flag, error message. Why error flag, error message is? We should know why it went wrong. So in which table you can see? The staging table name we have to check. Go to this table, copy this. Here is the place. Do you see here? Error message. And one more is record status. These two actually, we have to update it. Go here. These two. One is error flag, error message. Error flag or record status we can use. Anything is fine. Okay. Error flag, is there any other column? Just check. Okay, later we'll swap it here. Whenever you are updating, error flag will make it to record status. But right now only these two variables. So are you okay with this anonymous block? This is called as a validation also. One validation is price list is there or not. Are there any duplicates? How are you checking duplicates is based on a count function here. Okay. So this is over. Now next is, we are still inside of a for loop only, main for loop. Validation of currency code. If you go here in the application, there is a currency code here, right? Mostly all yellow fields are mandatory to validate it. Whatever the form it is, whatever the application it is. Currencies table is FND currencies. That currency must be enabled. If it doesn't have a currency, then we can make it as a no data found here. So we have in this exception, there are 18 more exceptions are there. No data found other than too many rows, 0 divide, those kind of exceptions. But right now, no data found usually we'll use for checking the data whether it's there or not. So two validations we have done. Okay. So how to write a validation is simply, it's very simple actually. We need to first type here, begin, exception, end. This is the anonymous block syntax. Okay. So inside of begin and exception, we are writing one statement. So what is the statement here? Select count of 1 into L count here, local variable count from which table? Price list in which table you are checking? That is QP list headers is equivalent to, sorry, where name is equivalent to here cursor for loop variable. Okay, you can say here for loop variable dot your name. If both are matching, that means that is there already. Okay. Then immediately what you can do, we need to put two variables here. The variables are here is one is error flag, other one is error message. Okay. Just go up here. Or else if condition we can use it. Okay. So this count, L count is there, right? If condition also we can manage there. Count is greater than 0. Okay, that means then two values. One is L error flag is equivalent to assignment operator is required here. This is called as assignment operator. We are assigning to Y semicolon, then one more L error message. L means local variable, guys. Is equivalent to. We have to put a message saying that price list name already exists. It's duplicated one. Already if record is there, if you are trying to insert a record, then it will throw error. So this is called as an anonymous block. Simply begin, then these two. Okay. Exception in this case not required. Just if condition only, right? So this is the way we can validate the price list, whether it is there or not in the system. In the same way, currency, how can you validate? Then one more anonymous block is required. So for that, what you can do, the table will change. Table name, FND currencies. Whatever the currency it is, whichever the country it is, but only single table, FND currencies. Column name, currency code. For loop column name dot currency code. Okay, here instead of this currency code. Clear? Now, instead of if condition, what I'm doing here is exception I'm using. Exception is what is, we have so many exceptions, right? One is when no data found. Then there are two flags with us. One is error flag, same way. Other one is error message. So these two, we have to update it in the staging table later, right now not required. We are simply identifying every column whether it is correct or not. This is error message. Currency code not enabled or it's something new, which is not available in the system. Okay. When no data found is regularly will use. If not, then when others then also will use in case of validations. This is one validation. This is a second validation. Just go up here. Validation 1, then validation 2. Any doubts in this? What is the use of these two? To check the data is right fit to our Oracle apps or not. Okay. Now these are all some default values. Second for loop, third for loop. In the third for loop, we are checking unit of measurement. Each kgs, liters, these are all right. So all are same. See, this is also same piece of code. Only you should know the column name and table name. So as of now, we have validated 3 columns. Okay. So what are the Navila? 3 columns. One is price list name. Other one is correct. One more. Okay. So now all the 3 validations we have done. Now finally API call is required here. This is called as a API call. So how are you calling this? Just mention the package name dot a procedure name and its list of arguments. So we have not done anything. Okay, simply we are passing parameters. For every API, as I told you, there are 7 parameters mandatory. These are all 7 parameters. So simply what you can do, you just use this return values copy and paste it so that you can find out where and all it is used. V return status, it is used here. Return status, find next. Here also we are printing. And here declaration. Overall 4 places it is there. First is declaration. The second one is here passing the value. And third one is comparing whether it is having a value or not. And finally we are printing. Same variable we have used in 4 places. So like that, you need to pass the parameter values. One is version number. In the last class, I explained all this. What are the values, true or false, return status, your API return status. Right now, return status is yes. Yes means success. Your API went fine. If it is having some other like unexpected failure, these are all you can say in this. And finally, what you can do, your record is processed. This is your header table. If message count is greater than 0, if there are 2, 3 errors, what you are doing, you are printing into fnd file.put line, fnd file.log. So we have two buttons here, right? The view requests log button, another one is output button. Then for loop. This for loop is to put more values. If there are 2, 3 errors, then you can use this one. This API again. One more. 8 point. The purpose of this is to handle multiple errors. Okay. And actual API we have not noted down. That is go up. This one. This is the actual API. Overall 9 points came here. This I'll share it with you. Just description. And finally, this is also done. And if something goes wrong, if it is not success, obviously it is opposite. That is a failure. So the record status, record message, both with one single update statement also we can do, but I made 2 statements here. One is for error message, other one is record status. And finally, we are putting API not executed successfully. There are 2 things here. One is if possible condition here. Here. If record status is success, executed successfully. If not, go down, API not successful. If condition, that's it. And in the when others than class, there are 2 things required. SQL ERRM, SQL code. Do you know this too? This one. And one more is also available in SQL, PLSQL. That is SQL code. Purpose of SQL code, SQL ERRM is to handle unknown errors. And where and all we can use this is only one class, that is when others then class. So we have one class right here. When others then. This is the exception. Okay. Your package is completed. Will you be able to tell me all the bullet points without seeing notes? Or you want to recall once? First, I advised you to learn record type, table type syntaxes. Second is to initialize why it is required is before calling API, this initialization is needed. Otherwise, your API will fail. Next is to populate user ID from environment. These are all responsibilities. Purpose of this is to enable a profile option from backend. And this is to write the data into log button. And this is actual API call. This is for error handling. In your API, if you get any errors, this will give you. And SQL code, SQL error, it will give unknown errors in the when other than class. Just 10 points are there. in this API. So what you can do first, see the data in all the three tables. Just 2 minutes. First, I need to see whether it is registered or not in the last class. Attribute table. Because we already copied lines. One data is there. Okay. These are all loaded by someone. Okay. I wanted to delete it, or you can leave it also. No worries. So here is the place. First header template. Okay, this one. I think we already renamed last time, correct? Okay. Just submit it simply. You can use pricing responsibility as well as, or else there is a order management also. Both are interrelated. It is not there. Pricing headers. We can go to in SAP. In the last class, I showed you how to register a concurrent program. Already registered program I'm taking. This is a registered program. ATM pricing headers. Do you see something? Not there, right? Is it available? This is better. Okay, we'll take this. One row successfully loaded. In the same way, second also. Pricing lines. Make sure whenever you are giving uh, this file names on extensions, you should not give a wrong files. Line to line, we have to check. What is the attributes? Check this also. We will have go last. Two rows loaded. The two rows you can check in the table. Result. Okay. The same way attributes. Still loading it seems. Okay. 77, we can remove it or leave it, no problem. Uh, this is done already in the last class. I just checked the data in all the three tables. The next final step here is staging to base table. So for this entire package, whatever we discussed, this you have to register as a program. How to register a package as a program, everyone knows, right? PLSQL stored procedure, we have to take it. You can go to system administrator, concurrent program executable. Here is a place. PLSQL stored procedure, package name dot procedure name. If you see here, whenever you are registering, you have to put package name as well as procedure name. Okay. Now submit that. It's already registered. Okay. You need to submit it simply. It's a package. It doesn't have any parameters or something. If you see here, these are all out parameters, not in parameters. So that's why we are not passing any parameters here. Okay. Now, no, fine. Just it is a two steps process. File to staging, staging to base. But whenever you are doing staging to base, we have to validate the columns, whether it is right or wrong. Okay. Check the view logs or you see error message count is 1. Okay. And API executed. This is all we have to check. There is one error because we have given one the existing record, right? Calling the API or enter. These are all we only typed here. FND message file output line, all this, right? Check the data now. In this table only, you can check the data. You have to check the status. Okay. Price list name already exists. That's why your API is giving errors here. Okay. Error index, error count is there already. So what you need to do is you need to give a fresh data. Just give here new data. Just Client name I kept as a Dell. Directly I'm changing in the files, not in a local machine. Server only I'm changing. Okay. Make sure it should not have any spaces. Okay. Now rerun all the things. So instead of individual submissions, what you can do, you can create one request set also. There is a set here, price list set. I'll tell you in the next class how to submit programs all together at once. So right now I am submitting single only. Sorry. See the data. So this is the one we are talking about. Line level also same. Still it is loading. Okay. Now you can submit the package. Check view log. And but that's okay. Let's see. What is the data? Okay, this is also already there. Price list name already exists. It's okay. So change the name and load it. Fine. So in the header file, you can change it. Go to header record, and here is the place you can change it. Fine. So this is the way we can discuss about price list conversion. So we have other conversions also. Like in the next class, what we can do, there is a item cost conversion. There's another conversion we'll talk. Along with the documentation also, we'll see. Document, there will be CV40, CV60, CV120. So all the document we have to prepare. Writing code is okay, but we have to document it in the form of a methodology that in the next class we'll discuss along with the document. Okay. Then still supplier is pending. Supplier conversion also we'll talk. Whenever we find time, we'll discuss about all this. So as of now, only one conversion we have discussed. The rest of the conversions, same procedure. Okay. Only tables functionality will change. Procedure is same. Any doubts before closing? Online? Please be available in the breakout rooms, guys. If you have any doubts, we can solve. You take 20 minutes break and please rejoin.